All right. Hello, everyone. So, for this recording or for this video, I will be discussing to you the last part of our discussion in the Philippine indigenous communities. So, bale, before this one o before nyo panoorin itong video, supposedly dapat matatapos muna natin yung mga IPs or ICCs in the Luzon Island or in the Luzon area. Pero uunahin ko na kasi wala na tayong time at kailangan yung mapanood o maging aware sa mga IPs or indigenous communities natin dito sa buong Pilipinas, okay? So, ang content ng video nito is more focus on the Visayas and Mindanao pero naglagay din ako ng ilang mga IPs sa Luzon na hindi ko nabanggit dun sa discussion o dun sa naunang PowerPoint presentation, okay? So first, let's be aware muna kung nasaan yung mga regions ng ng ating bansa dito sa mapa, no? So kung makikita ninyo, ito po yung division ng mga regions. So our country originally has 18 regions overall, okay? 18 regions po. Pero ngayon, because of the RA 12,000, nadagdagan na po ito ng isa which is the Negros region. So, hindi ko alam kung may kailan o kung ano yung bilang ng Negros region. But overall, we have 19 regions in the Philippines. Okay? So, saan ba ang ano dati? Ang region, ang Negros. I think ang Negros dati ay nasa, if not in Central Visayas, either in Western Visayas. Nasa pagitan ng Western at saka Central Visayas. Okay? So, ayan po. Just be familiarized with the divisions. Now, okay, first in our list, we have the Mangyan from the Mindoro province. So, ang Mangyan po, ang indigenous group na Mangyan ay makikita natin sa mga probinsya ng Mindoro, most especially in Occidental at saka Oriental Mindoro. Klasa, ang pinagkaiba ng Oriental at saka Occidental, pag sinabi nating Occidental, it means west. At saka Oriental, it means east. So, Occidental Mindoro means West Mindoro at saka Oriental means East Mindoro. Okay? So, ang Mangyan po, ito po ay binubuo ng apat, 8 indigenous tribes or groups in the Mindoro Island of the Philippines. Okay? This includes the following: the Iraya, the Alangan, the Tadyawan, Taubuid, Bangon, Buhid, Manunoo, at saka Ratagnon. Okay? Hindi nyo na kailangang i-memorize tong mga to. What I want you to have is the knowledge or the awareness na meron at may mga iba't ibang mga tribo under sa mga ICCs natin, okay? Pag sinabi natin kasing ICCs, a general term for the group of tribes living in our country, okay? So, ang pinaka main point o ang pinaka um, pinaka center ng culture ng mga Mangyan ay itong scripts nila o itong literature nila, ang Manunoo at saka Buhid. So usually ito ay galing sa dalawang tribo sa Mangyan ICC or sa Mangyan community. Okay? Plus itong dalawang script na ito ay galing o similar sa Baybayin family o yung unang kasulatan o unang alphabet system ng Pilipinas. Okay? So itong Manunoo at saka Buhid, ito po ay ginagamit para magsulat ng mga tula o poetry. Usually they put this poetry in a bamboo slivers. Pag sinabi natin bamboo slivers, ito yung buong bamboo, kinat nila yon o hinati-hati nila sa maliliit na wood. Usually ito yung kung makikita yung mga naunang mga bahay dito sa Pilipinas, yung mga lumang bahay sa Pilipinas, tapos yung floor nila gawa sa bamboo, yung maliliit na bamboo na yun na pinagsama-sama, yun yung bamboo slivers, okay? Now, the Mangyan also practice slash and burn farming, hunting and gathering. Kung makikita nyo class, in our discussion in the Luzon ICCs and most probably yung mga iba pang ICCs na mapag-aaralan natin mamaya, ang isa sa pinaka-common sa kanila ay yung slash and burn farming na livelihood nila. So, paano ba tong slash and wood? Ay, slash and burn? Usually, yung tawag natin dito is kaingin, di ba? Kaingin means burning the land to for for it to become a place for them to grow their crops. So ang slash and burn, from the word itself, slash, ang unang ginagawa nila is to cut the plants or the trees along the area or along dun sa farming field nila. And then they will burn it, and the burn and the elements, yung mga nasunog na na plants, yun daw ay isa sa mga nagiging fertilizer ng lupa para mas madaling tumubo yung mga crops na itatanim nila, okay? So medyo sustainable, pero hindi siya nagiging sustainable kasi pagka nagkaroon ng burning, nagkakaroon din ng release ng carbon dioxide, hindi ba? Na siyang nakakasira sa ating ozone layer. At isa pang disadvantage ng slash and burn o yung kaingin ay maaaring pagmulan ito ng wildfire. Lalong-lalo na kung hindi masyadong na-manage yung area na dapat masunog lang. Okay? Baka masunog din yung mga katabing mga trees kasi masyadong malakas yung apoy and many more. So may mga cases na ganun sa slash and burn farming. So they also do hunting and gathering. Our Mangyans are known for their shyness, and they are also peace-loving. So they prefer to live in uplands, which are excluded or secluded in the dominant areas or in the cities or in the urban areas, okay? So mas gusto nilang manirahan sa mga remote areas kasi nga they are very shy and they want peace. Okay? So same with other ICCs, they are also into animism. They have a strong belief in spirits or anito. And because of that, they became not our nature's guardians. So usually class, yung mga ICCs or IPs natin, malaki yung respeto natin dapat sa kanila kasi sila yung mga frontier guardians ng ating nature, especially sa 'di ba, sa sikat ngayon yung Sierra Madre. Why? Because we believe that Sierra Madre is one reason why typhoons hitting or making landfall in the Luzon area becomes weaker because of its mechanism na kaya niyang pahinain yung yung bagyong dumadaan sa Luzon, okay? Kasi nga yung elevated area, yun yung nag-disturb ng circulation ng wind na siyang bumubuo o nagpapalakas sa bagyo, okay? So napakalaki ng pasasalamat dapat natin sa mga ICCs at IPs natin, especially sa mga ICCs na pumoprotekta sa mga ganitong klaseng natural resources o natural uh, blockade natin. Kasi kung wala sila, marahil tayo din yung masasaglak sa epekto ng mga bagyo, malalakas na bagyo na dumadaan sa bansa natin, okay? So be thankful with the ICCs and be part of the solution in preserving the not only Sierra Madre but all the mountains and mountain ranges that protects us. Okay? So, tapos na tayo sa mga mangyan ng Mindoro. Let's proceed with the Aitas of Palawan. So, in the Luzon area or Luzon ICCs, na discuss ko na yung Aita o yung mga Negritos o Ati. Pero ay, class, wait nga, hindi po Visayas ang Mindoro, Palawan, Mindoro at saka Palawan na still part sila ng Luzon. Pero ang mga Aitas po ay hindi lang sila nakakonsentrate dun sa main island of Luzon. Naikalat din sila sa Palawan at saka even in Mindoro may mga parts din ng Mindoro na may mga Aitas. So usually ang mga Aitas sa Palawan, they are called as the Batak communities. Yun yung tawag nila sa sarili nila, mga Batak, 'di ba? Mga Batak sila. Plus, They are the they are the scattered groups of Negritos in Palawan. So the Batak in particular live in the northern and northeastern rainforest of the Palawan area. So they continue to practice foraging o yung pagkuha ng mga natural resources, yung available na natural resources like fruits, woods, or any kind of food na pwede nilang makita sa forest, yun yung foraging po, honey collection, and gathering of medicinal plants. So expert po ang ating mga ITAS in terms of medicinal plants for medicines and the like. So our ITAS of Palawan are considered one of the oldest population in the Philippines. Nabanggit natin na isa sa mga theory na ipinresenta sa land bridge or sa isthmus ay yung Palawan daw ay dating isang isthmus. Knowing na yung Palawan para siyang malaking mahabang strip of land, making it look like a bridge or a land bridge, hindi ba? So yun, parang yun daw yung ginamit ng mga ITAS, isa sa mga ginamit ng mga ITAS para makapunta sa Pilipinas from the mainland Asia. Okay? So they are considered as the oldest, one of the oldest population or settlers in the Philippines. And unfortunately, they are also considered as one of the most endangered indigenous groups in our country. So with their population numbering only for a few hundreds, iilan na lang po ang mga ITAS natin in Palawan, okay? So yun po ang mga ITAS. In Palawan, we also have here the Tagbanwa. Our Tagbanwa believed to be the descendants of the Tabonman. Yung mga Tabonman po, ito yung sinasabi nating mga unang tao sa Pilipinas aside from the Calauman, di ba? Pero scientifically said, mas nauna daw yung mga Calauman. Pero may mga nagsasabi din na expert na nauna daw yung mga Talauman ay Tabon rather. So yung mga Tabon man po ay nanggaling sa Palawan kasi nakita sila sa Tabon Cave in Palawan. So the Tagmanwas, they perform elaborate rituals such as the pagdiwata. Itong pagdiwata po, it's a feast to honor their gods and to celebrate various events like abundant harvest and of course the beauty of marriage or the success of the marriage. Now, the Tagbanwas are one of the few groups in the Philippines that still uses their own ancient syllabic script. Plus, take note, they use their own ancient syllabic script. They do not use alphabet, they use their own alphabet systems, their syllabic script. Okay? Kung baga, yung baybayin natin ng mga Pilipino, parang ganun yung ginagamit nila until now, nitong mga Tagbanwa. Okay? Traditionally class, they had a class system that includes high blood, low blood, and the slaves, or they call them as the Uripen. So kung naaalala niyo pa dun sa social class na discussion natin sa pre-colonial society, Uripon po yung Bisaya term for alipin, di ba? Pero sa kanila it's Uripen. Tsaka kung makikita nyo, pag royal blood ka, you have high blood. Okay? Tsaka pag lower o commoners ka lang, o nasa ano ka lang, freeman ka lang, you are low blood. Di ba? At ayun po. Yan lang po yung mga hindi ko na-discuss sa Luzon areas, our ICCs in Luzon areas. So, ayan. So, let's discuss the Visayas indigenous groups or cultural communities. Una sa listahan, we have the Suludnon. The Suludnon, which we can found at the Panay Island and in Bukidnon. So, this indigenous group are the inhabitants of the mountainous interior of Panay Island. Panay Island ay isa sa mga pinakamalalaking isla sa Pilipinas. Ang pinakamalaking isla sa Pilipinas, syempre ang Luzon, susunod ay ang Mindanao, sinusundan ng Samar, tsaka di ko na alam yung iba, pero nasa top 5 of top 10 yung Panay Island, okay? So, they are known for preserving their pre-Hispanic culture. Pag sinabi natin pre-Hispanic, yung kultura nila bago dumating yung mga Espanyol, na-preserve po nila yon. Those includes their epic, na hinilawod. And their traditional music and dances such as the Binanog dance and the intricate embroidery called the panubok. Okay? Class, napakaraming mga concepts na binabanggit dito sa mga slides natin. Pero hindi nyo kailangang i-memorize to. All I want you to be, all I want is for you to be aware of the majestic culture and the the beauty of the cultures that our ICCs or our IPs has. Okay? So, paano po sa paano sa exam? Ano pang gagawin natin sa exam? Usually, pag ganitong maraming mga terms or concepts, ang ginagawa ko na lang is I get the those concepts na kailangan nyo dapat tandaan, yung mga talagang talagang importante, essential para malimit syempre yung yung mga matatandaan ninyo kasi hindi naman lahat nito kaya nyong matandaan. Wala naman kayong photographic memory, di ba? Kahit ako, habang dinidiscuss ko to, yung mga iba na nadiscuss ko na noon, hindi ko rin matandaan because napakaraming mga concept. And we don't need to memorize them all. We just need to be aware that they have these various and majestic culture or traditions, okay? So, their name, Saludnon, came from the word salud, which means inside or closet, a reference to their secluded and mountainous homeland. So these people, just like di ba, nakalimutan ko na, yung mga gusto ng yan. Our Mangyans, just like the Mangyans, they also want to be secluded or to live in remote areas because they want peace and their religion is deeply connected with nature. Okay? Ayan. So, that is Saludnon. Makikita niyo yung design ng kanilang clothings, more on red, tsaka yung patterns nila, not too, not too, not too many. Medyo sim, simple, pero yung design pa rin niya is majestic, maganda, beautiful, okay? May patterns pa rin siya. And ayan, meron din silang hairdress kung makikita niyo sa picture. We also have here the Iskaya. Iskaya, these people or these indigenous peoples are the inhabitor of Bohol. So they are living in the inland Bohol towns and are known for their rich cultural narratives, which includes their own writing system as well, kagaya din ng ng asa na 'yan? Ayan, kagaya din ng mga mangyan at saka ng mga Tagbanwa. Ang mga Eskaya, di ba parang Diskaya lang? Ang mga Eskaya, they create an entire unique language and writing system not found anywhere else. That makes our Skaya eyepiece unique because they have this writing system na hindi nyo maiko-compare sa ibang mga alphabet system or writing system. Iba po, hindi po kayang ma-compare o ma-associate ng mga expert ng mga linguistic itong writing system ng mga Iskaya. And this is why they are known for their uniqueness, cultural uniqueness. And their school, class even in the modern period, their school teach the children these scripts along the regular subjects in the basic education. So it's a rare case of preserving the constructed culture of one community. Ito po yung itsura ng kanilang script o kanilang writing system. Ayan, no? Kung makikita nyo, kakaiba talaga siya. Kung may similarities naman sa hugis o anyo sa ating baybayin o sa ibang mga writing system, um magkaparehas nga sila o may similarities pero magkaiba sila ng definition o ng gamit. Okay? Kasi wala talaga, hindi sila maiko-compare sa ibang mga writing system. Okay? Like that. Yan. Per letter ata may may definition o may meaning. Ayan. So ito yun po ang mga eskaya natin. So we have here Negritos. Class, in my discussion in Aita, I said there that Aita, Ati, um, and Negritos are similar, which means black people or black eyed peas. Pero again, our Aitas or our Negritos has spread all throughout the country. Hindi lang po sila nag-stay sa iisang lugar. As I have mentioned in our discussion in midterms, karamihan sa mga Negritos o mga Aitas ay napilitan na lumikas sa kanilang mga tinitirhan dahil dumating yung ibang mga lahi, yung mga Indones at saka Malay. Dahil ayaw nilang makipaglaban para sa teritoryo, mas pinili ng mga Negritos na umalis sa kanilang lugar at pumunta paloob sa mga bulubundukin at mga remote areas. Ganon din yung ginawa nila nung dumating yung mga mananakop, yung mga Espanyol, Amerikano at mga Hapones. So, speaking of mga Espanyol, the Spanish conquistadors o yung mga invaders natin who in 1565 named the island after the dark-skinned indigenous people they encountered known as the Negritos. So the Negros, where we can find the Negritos sa Occidental at Oriental Negros Occidental at saka Negros Oriental, dito natin makikita yung isang tribo ng mga Negritos, okay? At ipinangalan ang Negros, sabi nga dito, ng mga Espanyol dahil yung mga nakita nilang mga naninirahan dito ay mga maiitim na tao. Okay, so the island's original native name is not Negros, but it's Buglas, a Visayan word meaning cut off, likely due to its geological separation from the larger landmass. Ang Negros po kasi isa siyang landmass na surrounded by bodies of water. Hindi katulad ng mga katabi niyang mga isla like Mindanao, at saka yung marami pang mga katabi niya, Cebu, and so on. Okay? So, that is Negritos of our Negros. So, dito po yung itsura nila. Usually, or typically, ganito yung pananamit nila. So, mostly, yung way of dress nila ay nakukuha lang nila sa natural resources, mostly sa leaves. Ayan. So, ganyan po. Simple as that. So, next we have Hiligaynon. Hiligaynon came from the province of Iloilo and mostly in Iloilo, okay? So our Hiligaynon or also known as the Ilonggos. So their homeland includes in yan aside from Iloilo, we have Guimaras, Negros Occidental, o di ba? Sabi ko kanina. Pero as you can see, class, sa Hiligaynon, they are also somehow Negritos or Ati kasi yung dark or black skin din nila similar sa mga Atis. Class, ang mga tribo po may iba-iba silang pangalan pero karamihan sa kanila ay similar in terms of physical appearance. Why? Because they share the same ancestry. Nanggaling din sila sa iisang ancestry, either Aitas, either Indones, or mga Malays, okay? So nagkakaroon lang sila ng distinct cultural practices kasi lumaki sila sa iba't ibang mga klase ng habitat, okay? So yung habitat nila o yung tirahan nila, yung nagdidikta kung anong culture yung ginagawa nila o yung prina-practice nila, okay? Tandaan na nyo rito. Now, ang mga Hiligay nun po ay nagmula sa Iloilo at saka sa ibang mga probinsya. Class, ang Ilonggo po, hindi tinawag na Ilonggo ang mga tao sa Iloilo as Ilonggo dahil malaki yung ilong nila. No. Ilonggo came from the word Iloilo. So, mga Pilipino o mga tao na nagmula sa Iloilo. Kaya sila tinawag na Ilonggo, okay? Hindi po dahil malaki yung ilong nila. Okay? So, um, our Hiligaynon or our Ilonggo are excellent in agriculture, in trade, in weaving, in fishing, and festival cultures. As you can see, and as I have mentioned in our profiling, the livelihood of our IPs or ICCs are connected, associated in their culture and in their religion. Okay? Especially sa weaving. Karamihan sa mga ICCs natin nagwi-weave. Why? Because yung materials sa paggawa ng weaving ay abundant sa kanilang area o sa kanilang habitat. Saan ba nanggagaling yung fabric na ginagamit nila sa weaving? Sa mga stem ng puno around their areas like abaka, ano pa? Abaka, nipa, ayan mga yan. So they are famous for their melodic and gentle speaking language. Kilala yung mga Ilonggo sa kanilang mahinahon na pagsasalita, okay? Which give the Ilonggo's culture a reputation for softness and politeness. Hindi pa, I don't know kung nakarinig na ako ng mga nag-iilonggo, pero try to search in the internet kung paano sila magsalita. Kung tama ba talagang soft o gentle speaking yung mga Ilonggo natin, okay? Sa Ilonggo po, o yung mga Hiligaynon natin, they have um, what is this festival? Hindi po ati-atihan tong festival ng mga Ilonggo, ha. Iba po yung festival ng ati-atihan. Sa Aklan po yan, sa Kalibo Aklan. Yung mga Ilonggo natin, ang kanilang festival ay ang Dinagyang Festival. Okay? Dinagyang Festival. Similar siya sa Atiatihan. They also color their skin with dark ink or yung mga native na hiligay nun kasi dark naman yung kulay ng balat nila or dark brown, hindi na nila kailang pintahan, okay? So yan po, hiligay nun. At ang hiligay nun po, dito din po nanggaling ang myth o ang story about kay Bakunawa. Kilala niyo ba si Bakunawa? It's a mythical creature in our Philippine mythology. Okay? So yung kwento po ni Bakunawa is that gumawa po ng 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 na buwan. Si Bathala, yung supreme god po ng mga pre-colonial societies natin. So, si Bathala gumawa ng 7 buwan para sa Pilipinas. At nung ginawa ito ni Bathala, nabighani ang Bakunawa sa ningning at ganda ng mga buwan na ito. Na yun yung naging dahilan kaya ito ay natakam at kainin yung mga buwan na iyan. Okay? So, halos 6 po na buwan yung kinain daw ng Bakunawa. At nung akmang kakain niya na yung huli at pang 7 buwan, pinigilan siya ng mga tao ng Pilipinas. Anong ginawa ng mga mamamayan ng Pilipinas o ng ng Iloilo o itong mga provinces dito? Ang ginawa po nila, nag-ingay po sila ng nag-ingay. Um, Kanilang pinatugtog yung kanilang mga gong, yung mga pot nila, yung mga pampaingay nila ay kanilang mga pinatugtog at pinalakas upang marinig at matakot at takutin ang Bakunawa na kainin ang huling buwan ng bansa. Okay? Yun daw yung dahilan kung bakit nawala yung 7 o yung 6 rather na buwan na ginawa ni Bathala para sa Pilipinas o para sa mundo na lang, di ba? Ayun po. So yun. So dahil sa cooperation ng mga tao, kaya naisalba nila yung huli at natitirang buwan sa Pilipinas at sa mundo. Okay? So every now and then, kung nagkakaroon ng lunar eclipse, ganito yung ginagawa daw dati ng mga Pilipino o ng mga tao na nagpapatugtog sila ng malalakas, nag-iingay sila para takutin ang Bakunawa na kainin muli yung natitirang buwan ng mundo. Okay? So yun yung istorya about kay Bakunawa. So next we have Ati of Aklan. O di ba? Negros, we have Hiligaynon, and of course we have the Ati of Aklan. Siyempre hindi mawawala ang mga ati sa Aklan kasi sa kanila nanggaling yung ati-atihan, ang sikat na ati-atihan ng Kalibo Aklan, okay? So ano ang mga ati? Actually class, ang ati po ay ang original na settlers ng Panay Island. And kabilang sa Panay Island, ang Boracay. Class, tandaanan nyo to. Ang Boracay Island po ay hindi sa Palawan. Class ha, matatagpuan po ang Boracay Island, ang sikat na Boracay Island ng Pilipinas sa Aklan, sa isla ng Panay, hindi po sa isla ng Palawan. Minamarket lang sila together. Minamarket ang Boracay at saka Palawan together kasi similar sila ng characteristics, may mga magagandang beaches at para sumikat din ang Palawan as a tourist spot, di ba? Kasi nasa Palawan yung Puerto Princesa, nandyan yung Underground River, napakarami ding magagandang beaches dan. So, minamarket siya together with Boracay para hindi lang nakasentro ang mga tourists sa pagpunta ng Boracay, para hindi naman ma-congest yung mga turista sa Boracay. Hindi lang yung Boracay yung pinupunta nila, pero mag-spread yung yung tourism volume ng mga tao sa sa Pilipinas, okay? Most especially sa Palawan at saka sa Panay, okay? Kasi kung masyadong marami yung turista na pupunta sa Boracay every now and then, syempre masisira, magde-deplete yung ganda at saka yung resources na meron doon. Okay, so ayun. So, our ati in Aklan are the original settlers of Panay Island long before the arrival of the Malay group. Kung maaalala nyo, class, isa sa discussion natin ay yung nung nagbigay yung dato ng Borneo ng golden salakot sa hari o sa pinuno ng mga ati sa Panay Island. Naalala nyo yan? Ito, di ba? Isa sa mga dato na nagmula sa Borneo, di ba 10 sila na pinamumulaan ni Dato Puti, ay nagbigay ng golden salakot sa hari ng mga ati sa Panay upang bilhin yung buong Panay sa kanila. Okay? So nabili nila yung Panay gamit itong golden salakot. So ito yung pinaniniwala ang dahilan kung bakit kokonti na lang yung mga ati sa Aklan kasi nag-disperse sila from that reason. So our ati in Aklan are known for their oral traditions such as the Maragtas stories mentioned that the Bornean yan to itong Bornean datus daw purchased the lowlands from the ati chieftain Maricudo. So, di ko na naalala kasi yung pangalan ni ano. So the ati chieftain is named Maricudo. So, binili ng mga Bornean Datus yung lowland ng Panay sa kanya. While partly legendary, it reflects the historical presence and authority of the Ati before the Visayan settlement. Okay? O yung mga Malay po natin. Kasi usually yung mga Malay sila yung bumubuo ng Bisaya population natin ngayon. So yung ancestor ng mga Bisaya sila po yung mga Malay. Ayan. So, sa Kalibo Aklan, they have the Ati-Atihan. Ayan. So, lastly, for for Visayas, we have the Waray na matatagpuan sa Eastern Visayas such as in Samar um, and Leyte. Ayan. So, Samar at saka Leyte. So, our Waray, because I mean the Waray was called as Waray because of their language Waray-Waray, the widely spoken language or dialect across the Samar and parts of Leyte. So, our Waray are known for their resilience kasi, 'di ba? Halos halos taon-taon dinadaanan ang Eastern Visayas, especially sa Samar at saka Leyte, ng mga malalakas na bagyo. Most notably, yung Yolanda. Sila yung napinsala because of the Yolanda. Yung mga waray po natin yung na-displace sa sa kanilang mga tirahan because of the Yolanda typhoon. So, because of the waray-waray, it it became the medium to bind the communities through their shared songs, to their dances, proverbs, and events storytelling. So our Waray or the Waray culture is shaped by both coastal since they are surrounded by bodies of water and even agricultural life, resulting in expertise not only in fishing but also in farming and even in boat making. Okay? So that ends the Visayas indigenous communities. Okay? If you have any question so far, just leave it in our group chat. Okay? Or dito na lang sa YouTube video, dyan sa comment area, kung may tanong, para ma-address agad. We have Mindanao Indigenous Groups. Ito na yung last part ng discussion natin for this subject. Mindanao Indigenous Groups. Ito medyo marami-rami kasi ang indigenous people ng Mindanao, they are the largest concentration of the indigenous peoples in the Philippines. Meaning, sila o dito sa Mindanao ang may hawak ng pinakamaraming population ng IPs sa buong Pilipinas. In contrary dun sa sa alam natin na nasa Cordillera, yung may pinakamaraming indigenous people. No, nasa Mindanao po. And class, we have here the term lumad. Ang lumad po, these are the indigenous people of Mindanao na hindi Islam, hindi mga Muslim at hindi mga Christian. So usually sila po yung mga original settlers ng Mindanao Island. So ang lumad, ang meaning yan, born and grown in the place. Meaning in the place of the Mindanao Island. So ang lumad po ang tawag natin sa mga indigenous groups na hindi mga Muslim at hindi din mga Christians. Ang mga original settlers ng Mindanao Island. So may 18 lumad ethno-linguistic groups po sa Mindanao. So we have there Tausog, Maranao, Maguindanao. So aside from them, narito po yung 18 lumad groups ng Mindanao. Bagobo, Banwaon, Bilaan, Bukidnon o Dahigawnon. We have the Mandaya, Manswaka, or the Mandaya Manobo, Mamanwa, Manobo as the general group, Subanen or the Subanon, Tagabawa, Tagakalo, Talandig, Talaandig pala, Tiboli, sorry, Tiboli, Tiruray, Ubo or Manobo, Bagoboklata, paano doble itong Bagoboklata, pero I'm not sure with with the kung ano yung difference nila. And Sangir in the Sarangani area. So, ilan lang yung i-discuss natin dito kasi marami pang mga IPs na madi-discuss. So, who are the Lumads class? Again, they are the largest group of IPs in the Philippines. Usually, ang IP sa buong Pilipinas is 14 to 17 million. Pero 61% nito ay mga lumad. Okay? More than half of this 14 to 17 million ay mga lumad people. So they are 18%. Just imagine that. 18% ng population ng buong Pilipinas. Okay? So they are the largest indigenous population in the Philippines. The lumad. Tandaan na nyo rito. So first in our list, we have the Manobo, the first and the largest Lumad group in Mindanao. They are concentrated in the regions of Agusan, Bukidnon, Cotabato, Davao, Misamis Oriental, and Surigao del Sur in Mindanao. So traditionally class, they are farmers who practice kaingin or the slash and burn agriculture and live in small villages near water or forests. Isa pa sa mga tatandaan ninyo, class, halos lahat ng mga civilization na nabuo hindi lang sa Pilipinas but all throughout the world, yung kanilang tirahan ay malapit sa mga bodies of water. Kung hindi man sa coastal, malapit po sa river o sa mga lake. Why? Number one, source of water, of irrigation para sa kanilang agriculture. And isa pa sa dahilan kung bakit mas gusto ng mga taong manirahan in the earlier period o ancient times na manirahan sa malapit sa tubig ay dahil nagiging fertile yung lupa malapit sa katubigan. Okay? Especially sa mga river na dumadaloy yung tubig. Nagiging fertile po yung lupa. Pag sinabi nating fertile yung lupa, mas madali itong tubuan ng mga plants or crops. Okay? So, pero may disadvantage din yun, lalo na pag bumabagyo, nababaha din yung area nila. Kaya medyo may disadvantage at advantage yung paninirahan nila near the bodies of water. So, their culture includes intricate textile art, as you can see in their dressings, yung mga patterns din nila. Unique leadership structure led by a Datu. So this group has a Datu and a spiritual belief system centered on the unseen spirits or the Anitos. Their belief system centered on their supreme deity named Magbabaya. Okay? Si Magbabaya ang kanilang supreme deity. So, pare-parehas po yung ano yung concept ng supreme deity that they are the creator, the most powerful of all, pero magkakaiba lang sila ng term ng ginagamit sa mga ICCs natin. So that is our Manobo, the largest lumad group in the Philippines. We have Bagobo. Bagobo po ay ang mga nakatira sa paanan ng Mount Apo. Sa Saan bang Mount Apo? Sa Davao ata to eh. If I'm not mistaken, sa Davao. Sa Yeah, tama, Davao del Sur and in Cotabato areas. Plus remember Mount Apo is the highest mountain in the Philippines. At ang mga nakatira dito ay ang mga Bagobo tribes. The Bagobo class is known for their warrior associated tribe because of their distinct social hierarchy and vibrant artistry, as you can see again in their way of clothings. Intricate ng kanilang artistic designs. Yung mga beads nila, 'di ba? Ang gaganda ng mga beads nila. Even their headdress, even their music instruments, their armaments, their bracelets, usually made of precious golds or or anong tawag na dito? Minerals. Ayan. So, pero yung kung may commendable dun sa mga eyepiece natin is it's the design of their clothings and their weaving products. Ang gaganda ng mga patterns na ginagawa nila, okay? So the Bagobo upheld a society stratified into leaders, warriors, and the commoners, reflecting their complex socio-political system. So meron po silang social stratification o social class, similar as the Bisaya. The Bagobo culture is marked by brass casting o yung paggawa ng gansa, intricate beadworks like you can see in the picture, and colorful embroidery attire decorated with bells and metalworks. Okay, so we all have here the lolen. Lolen po yung headdress na meron dyan sa babae sa picture. Yan po, actually, class is a specific type of horse hair. Buhok po yan ng isang kabayo. That's a hairdress worn exclusively by women who belong to a royal family of the Bagobo Tagabawa tribe. Okay? So that is Bagobo. Again, ang kanilang hairdress ay tinatawag na lolen. We have Higaunon. Higaunon came from Bukidnon and Misamis Oriental. They are widely admired for their peace-oriented culture, their respect for the nature, and adhere to the traditional laws upheld by their datus and cultural council of elders. They are obedient to their authorities, okay? So as you can see, their dressing, there's a similarity with the color and design or patterns if meron man sa ibang mga tribo, and they also have hairdress and notably their beadworks napakarami at napaka-eleganting tignan. Ayan. So they practice Bantulawan or the peace pacts with neighboring communities, embodying their commitment to peace and harmony. So kung ang Kalinga may badong sila, sa kanila naman they have this Bantulawan. Okay? Their peace pact. Higaonon class, whose name means people of the living mountains, inhabit the northern eastern highlands of the Mindanao. So thus, yung kanilang livelihood revolves around upland agriculture, forest gathering, and small-scale hunting. Ulit-ulitin ko to ha. Their livelihood class actually is associated with their habitat, their religion, and their culture. Okay? Kung ano yung trabaho nila, parati yung naka-associate o connected sa kanilang habitat, kanilang tirahan, sa kanilang culture, at sa kanilang religion o yung kanilang belief system. Now, that is the Higaonon. Huwag kayong makonfuse sa Hinigaynon tsaka Higaonon ha, sa Visayas at tsaka Mindanao. We have Mandaya. Mandaya class is from the Davao Oriental and the Compostela Valley. So magkakatabi lang po to, yung Compostela Valley, Davao del Norte, Davao del Sur, tsaka Davao Oriental, tsaka Davao Occidental. Diba? So their identity is expressed through dagmay. What is dagmay? It's a highly symbolic abaca textile woven by the Mandaya women. As you can see in the picture, ganyan po kaganda yung kanilang dagmay. So expert sila sa pagwiweave ng textile na ito, okay? So their warrior ancestry and elaborate body ornaments show their unique aesthetics and social traits. Kung i-compare mo sila sa mga Luzon tribes, makikita natin yung yung warrior ancestry sa kanila through their tattooing. 'Di ba? Yung tattoo art nila. Pero sa Mindanao, they are more on ornaments, mga sinusuot na bracelet, necklace, yung mga beadworks, and mga mini golds na inilalagay nila sa kanilang mga katawan. So more on more on materialistic yung kanilang culture compare sa sa taas sa tribes ng Cordillera. It's more on intangible na culture yung kanila or non-material culture like tattoo or can we consider tattoo as material since it came from the ink? Pwede, but yeah, I'm just confused. Parang mas naging confused na kayo sa explanation ko. But you know what I mean? That they present their culture through tattooing, pero dito sa Mindanao, they use ornaments to reflect their culture, okay? Mandaya spirituality revolves around spirit beings like the Busaw. They believe that this Busaw inhabits the forests, rivers, and mountains. Parang nature spirit lang to, di ba? Na anito sa ibang mga tribes. So that is Mandaya. We also have here Mamanwa. Mamanwa class, they have this unique that kind of dressing na parang mga diamonds at saka triangle design. So they are living as a semi-nomadic community. Pag nomadic, palipat-lipat ng lugar, pero this the traditional tribes. So their lifestyle remains rooted in hunting, gathering, and mobility. Mobility kasi palipat-lipat sila ng lugar. So they are good at music and dance, and it's strong part of their cultural identity, especially if they do rituals to rain, for healing, and even in Thanksgiving. So their culture is characterized by animistic beliefs, same as the others, unique language, traditional arts like in weaving and beadworks, and practice centered on community and a deep connection to nature. 'Di ba? Parang same lang ng may similarities lang may similarities lahat or karamihan sa mga indigenous communities natin that they are animistic, they do weaving, they do beadworks, they practice agriculture, they have kaingin or slash and burn. Uh, Nagkakaiba na lang sila siguro sa mga practice, yung mga ritual practices nila, yung mga belief system nila, ilan sa mga belief system nila, yung language nila, doon na lang sila siguro distinct sa isa't isa, no? Ayan po yung Mamanwa, di ba? So, nakalimutan ko. They are from Surigao and Agusan the regions. Now we have Subanen or the Subanon, usually found in Zamboanga Peninsula. So, Subanen means people of the river. They are traditionally settled along the river valleys of Zamboanga Peninsula, reflecting their central role of waterways in their livelihood and spirituality. They practice upland farming, supported by fishing and forest gathering. So yung pinaka-importanting figure nila for their cultural aspect is the Balyan, their female spiritual leaders. Kung sa Visayas, meron silang babaylan sa kanila, they have the Balyan. So this Balyan conducts the rituals for healing, protection, and agricultural success. Our Sabanan um, enrich their culture through their agong music o yung gong music nila and their cultural attire or their colorful attire rather. And notably po yung kanilang headdress, yung malalaking beads sa kanilang noo o luhan. Ayan, di ba? Sila po yung may ganyang headdress, yung malalaking beads sa kanilang ulo. We have Tiboli. Tiboli class is from the South Cotabato in Lake Cebu. Yung Lake Cebu po, wala sa Cebu City o sa Cebu Province. Nasa South Cotabato po yan. At ito po yung lake na ginamit ng Tiboli community for them to settle their community or their habitat or their houses. Okay? So they are world renowned for their uh, tinalak, tinalak cloths or the woven textile by dream weavers who receive patterns through dreams believed to be given or gifted from Fudalu, the Abaka spirit. So itong design nila ng kanilang clothings o yung mga winiweave nilang mga fabric, itong patterns na ginagamit nila actually came from dreams o kanilang panaginip o panaginip ng mga nagtatahi o nagwi-weave ng design na ito. At itong dreams na ito, itong patterns na daw ito ay regalo sa kanila ng kanilang Abaka spirit or the Fudalo, named Fudalo, okay? Ito yung kanilang goddess. The Tiboli society is vibrant with music, dance, brass bells, boat-shaped gongs o tinatawag din nating kulintang. Ito yung isa sa pinakasikat na traditional musical instrument sa Pilipinas, yung kulintang. Makikita natin mamaya yung itsura nito. And stories of mythical ancestors. Their livelihoods combined farming, fishing, and crop production. Again, based on their habitat. Okay? So, yung pinakasakat sa kanila, it's the Tinalak ha. Huwag niyong kalimutan. The Tinalak. The Tiboli, we have the Tinalak order. Dream patterned weaving styles. Ito po yung Abaca class. Ang Abaca po ay nanggaling sa banana trees. Ang Abaca po ay isang uri ng banana tree o banana plant kung saan ginagamit po yung stem ng leaves nila, yung pinakagitna ng leaves, yung matigas na stem ng leaves, ay yun po yung ginagamit para sa paggawa ng abaka. So, parang kinakayod nila yung stem na yon para makuha yung thin part ng abaka, o yung nung abaka o yung nung stem, at yung thin part na yun, yun yung parang paghihiwalay-hiwalay nila para maging isang fabric o silk. Which is yung makikita nyo dyan sa baba, yung fiber ng abaca leaves or ng abaca tree, okay? So yan yung ginagamit nila para gumawa ng mga weave o woven um, textile nila o ng kanilang mga clothings. So ito yung itsura ng kanilang tinalak. Yan. So kung hindi clear, ganito po yung itsura niya, parang yung syempre yung may pattern siya, may design siya, yung pattern niya, it's an alternating pattern with usually magkakaiba naman ng kulay, hindi lahat ng ganito yung kulay ng weave nila. Tsaka yung design nila, it's not really abstract but it's kind of a masasabi ba nating based on shapes? Hindi naman, no? It's more on hindi ko masabi kung ano yung design na ginagamit nila. But parang parang kamatayan ata to di ba? May yung red parang wood. Tsaka yung nasa gitna ng red na circle parang parang bungo eh. Tsaka damit damit niya ata itong nasa baba niya. Pero anyway, again, design, their pattern is based on the dreams of the weavers, okay? Kaya sikat itong tinalak na ito. Ayan. So, ito yung kulintang class. Kuli, ah, kulintang, tama. It's the kulintang. It's a boat-shaped gong of the uh, Tivoli. So, yung shape niya, hindi yung gong yung shape, hindi yung gong yung ano ha. Pero class, ata, parang yung gong ata yung ano, yung shape, boat-like shape yung gong. Yung musical instrument na gong, yun yung boat-like shape. Parang mali ata yung nilagay ko dito. Wait lang ano ko, wait lang. Hindi ko po mahanap yung ano, yung boat shape like na ano, na gong nila. But this is the kulintang class ha. This is the kulintang. But the boat shape like yung just imagine the gong shape like a boat. Medyo pa-curve siya, convex curve siya. Pailalim yung pagka-curve ng ano ng gong. Okay? So anyway, that's Tivoli. Let's continue our discussion on Tiruray. Tiruray came from the area of Maguindanao and Sultan Kudarat. So they are known for their peaceful disposition and highly developed indigenous justice system known as the Timoy. Same with this is peace compact or peace system ng Kalingas at ng ano na may peace system kanina. Kalimutan ko na may peace system kanina eh. Ito, ng mga Higaw nun, the Bantulawan, our Tiruray has their Timuay. Okay? So this system governs community affairs, conflict resolution, and moral conduct. So Tiruray spirituality recognizes a supreme deity called Damingan and hosts of benevolent and malevolent spirits. So Ingan is their supreme god or supreme deity, and they also believe that there is at saka mga maligno at saka ano yun ang isa, maligno at saka kalimutan ko na naman yung isa eh. Uh, anyway, they have the benevolent or the good spirit and the malevolent or the bad spirits, okay? So they believe in those kind of things. Their livelihood includes farming, weaving, basket making, and small scale trades. Usually, yung small scale trades nila, yung mga katabi din lang nila na ano, na tribes. Okay? Through the barter system. Now, yun po yung mga ilan sa mga kabilang sa lumad indigenous groups. Okay? Again, class ha, pag lumad, sila yung mga grupo ng mga indigenous peoples na hindi kabilang sa Islam at saka Christian religion. Okay? They are separate in those kinds of religion. They are the original settlers of the area, and their religion or their belief system is associated with the nature and environment. Animistic sila, okay? Animistic sila. So we have here the Moro people of Mindanao. Pag Moro people, these are the indigenous people of Mindanao that embrace the Islam religion. So they are not categorized as Lumad. Rather, they are the Moro people. So uh, these people, the Moro people, are the ones responsible in forming the sultanates, yung mga sultan communities ng Mindanao. They also have these powerful maritime networks. Magagaling sila sa paggawa ng mga bangka at magaling sila sa paglalayag. At noticeable din o notable din yung kanilang distinct political structures. Maybe similar sila sa mga dato at saka raha ng ano, raha ng mga Bisaya, but sa kanila they have the Sultanate or the Sultan leadership. Now, pinakasikat sa mga Moro people ay ang mga Maranao. Ang mga Maranao ay nanggaling sa Lanao del Sur. So, yung kanilang pangalan na Maranao, it came from the word Lanao, which is the lake where the people of Maranao resides, in the Lake of Lanao, in Lanao del Sur. So, their sophisticated culture revolves around that Torogan or the Royal House of the Royal Family, which is you can see in the picture, yan po ay isang example ng Torogan. Di ba? Parang Ilocano term lang, Turugan, pagturugan, the Royal House of the Maranao. We also have here the Okir Geometric. Dun sa lower picture, makita niyo yung design. That's Okir Geometric. So, yung design niya is more on shape, triangular, square shapes done through arts. At saka may mga curves din, mga spiral designs. At saka, ang isa sa pinakilala ang mga Maranao ay ang kanilang kwento about kay Sari Manok. O, di ba? Baka narinig nyo na tong term na ito, Sari Manok. At baka nakita nyo na rin yung picture ng isang Sari Manok. It's a legendary bird symbolizing good fortune. So, bago natin tingnan yung mga pictures nila, ang mga Maranao po, they are more on agriculture then, brass casting, textile weaving, and wood carving remain their central livelihood and identity. They also have the festival named as the Singkil or their folk dance that retells the episode story of the epic of Darangen. Darangen is their epic in the Maranao area, Manarao community, okay? So ito po yung Sari Manok class. It's a legendary mythical bird or chicken. Sari manok is a legendary bird of the Maranao people. It comes from the word sari, which means garment. Kaya kung makikita nyo yung itsura niya, para siyang, um, it's a, parang mga tela na pinaghabi-habi with different colors na pinormang parang manok. And manok, syempre, came from Tagalog word or Filipino word na chicken o manok. So, sari manok, actually class, is a legendary bird from Maranao pero ang tawag nila dito is itotoro. Okay? Yun yung tawag nila sa sari manok. It's itotoro. At saka may kambal daw itong itotoro na ito o yung sari manok na tinatawag nilang inikadua. Inikadua. Itong inikadwa na ito yung bird na nasa kabilang buhay. Ito yung unseen twin spirit bird ng itotoro. Now, itong itotoro na daw ito yung ginagamit na medium o way ng mga Maranao people para makahingi ng wish, good fortune, good harvest, o kahit anong kahilingan pa yan na ipinapadala nila para kay Inikadwa na siyang gabay o na siyang way din nila para makausap o maibigay yung message nila sa mga espiritu at Diyos sa kabilang buhay. Okay? So, Itotoro, pangalan ng sarimanok ng mga Maranao at saka yung twin bird, spirit bird ng Itotoro is yung Inikadwa. Okay? Inikadwa. Tanyo Malipatan, Itotoro, yung sarimanok, Adakaduana, that is Inikadwa. Okay? It's Inikadwa. Ito po yung singkil. Okay? Singkil dance. Kung makikita nyo, o baka nakapanood na kayo ng mga video nito, usually has like the tinikling dance. May ano din sila. Pero imbis na dalawang kawayan, apat po yung nakawayan yung pinagtutungtungan ng mga dancers. At noticeably, may gamit silang pamaypay upang ipakita yung gesture ng kanilang body o ng kanilang kamay. Okay? So, may ginagamit din silang mga payong for, I don't know, for part of their, for performances. Tsaka, yung babae po yung gumagamit ng pamaypay. Tsaka yung mga lalaki, sila po yung may hawak ng mga armas, mga kalasag, na nagre-representa ng kanilang katapangan. Okay, so usually yung mga folk dance o yung mga dances ng mga ethnic groups natin, mga ethnic dance natin, pre-present doon o nire-reflect doon yung lifestyle ng mga ethnic groups natin o yung mga ginagawa nila kung hindi man sa pang-araw-araw o yung cultural practices na meron sila. Okay? We have Tausog. Tapos na tayo sa Maranao. Tausog from the Sulu area o Sulu Island, okay? Sulu yung nasa baba na ata to ng ano, di ba? Ito yung pinakababang part ng Pilipinas. Mas malapit pa nga yung Sulu kaysa sa ano, di ba? Mas malapit pa ang ang Sulu sa Malaysia kaysa yung Sulu sa Manila. 'Di ba? Kasi halos katabi na ng Sulu o nababang ka na lang ata yung pagitan ng Sulu at saka Malaysia. Kumpara sa Manila, masyadong malayo yung distance, okay? So Sulu or the Tausog, which means the people of the current, are the dominant ethnic group in the Sulu area, particularly in Jolo and its surrounding islands. They also have the Sultanate system, a powerful maritime kingdom that controls the trade between the routes of the Philippines, Borneo, and the Malay world. Our Tausog is characterized by their strong warrior traditions, their elegant dance called the Pangalay. Kung may singkil ang mga Maranao, meron namang pangalay ang mga Tausog. And their weaving techniques, textile, named the Peace Shabit. O, di ba? Peace Shabit. Madali na lang to i-memorize. Tandaan nyo lang si Manong Chabit. Peace Chabit. Pangalay. Similar siya. May similarity siya dun sa ano, sa singkil. Gumagamit din sila ng kawayan pero usually dalawa lang yung pinagtutungtungan ng dancer. At saka, kung makikita nyo, may, wala silang hawak na panyo, kamay lang nila. At saka para mas ma-emphasize yung galaw ng kamay nila o ng mga daliri nila, kasi kung makikita nyo, di ba, pinagdidikit nila yung thumb at saka pointing fingers nila. Pointing fingers ba yun o middle finger? Or ring finger? I'm not sure. I-demonstrate nyo lang sa sarili ninyo. Pero, para ma-emphasize yung galaw ng kamay nila, they usually put extension on their nails. Yun, dito sa babae, dito sa picture, yung babae may long nails just to emphasize their graceful hand gestures during the dance. Okay? Dun sa likod, makita nyo, gumagamit din sila ng kulintang o yung set of gongs in a flat wooden stole. Now, we have Sama Badjaw. Ito po yung last na na ethnic group for the Mindanao. We have the Sama Badjaw. Oh, narinig niyo yung term na Badjaw? Yes. Sama Badjaw is the real and the original name for our brothers sisters na Badjaw o yung BAGAO na na, na pakalat-kalat sa kung saan man sila kumakalat, okay? This is the real name of them, of their community or their ICC or the IP group. It's Sama Badjaw. Okay, usually they are found in Tawi-Tawi, Sulu, in Basilan, and some in Zamboanga. They are often called as the sea nomads. Why? Because they live in the sea. Literally. Kung makita niyo dito sa picture dito sa baba ng text, yung mismong bangka, nandun yung kanilang bahay. Kung hindi man ganito, yung kanilang bahay ay nakatayo mismo sa karagatan. Kung makita nyo dito sa lower part na picture, dito sa right side o left side ninyo, ito po yung yung bahay nila. Ganito po yung itsura ng bahay nila. May slit, na kakalimutan ko, yung foundation na kawayan lang, na maraming kawayan, di ba? Nakatayo lang siya sa sa mismong dagat. Kaya usually o typically yung kanilang livelihood more on fishing, diving, and small-scale maritime trade. Okay? Most especially sa diving. Kaya sikat yung mga badyaw natin bilang mga magagaling na divers. Kaya nilang huminga sa ilalim hindi huminga sa ilalim ng dagat, ng tubig, ng ilang minuto. Compare sa mga normal na taga kapatagan o naninirahan sa sa kalupaan, okay? So yung mga bahay nila, itong mga houseboat nila, tinatawag na lepa-lepa. Okay? So yung bahay nila nasa mismong bangka. Okay? So sikat itong mga Badyaw kasi they are known for their diving skills, their fishing skills. Ano pa? Kung napanood nyo na yung paghuli kay Lolong, yung pinakamalaking buhaya, di ba? Nakita siya sa coastal freshwater crocodile. Kaya dun sa video nakita natin na yung crocodile nasa ilalim ng mga kabahayan ng mga tao. Usually, yung mga taong yon, they are Sama Badjaw, okay? Kasi yung bahay nila nasa taas ng bodies of water, most especially sa coastal areas, okay? They also have colorful traditional clothings, as you can see at the first picture. They also wear, uh, ano ba tawag dito sa headdress nila? Is that turban? O, yung parang sa mga Muslim. At saka dun sa mga babae, siguro yung mga royal women na lang yan, yung may mga parang gold-like headdress sa kanilang ulo. Okay? So, those are some of the typical traditional clothings na meron yung mga Sama Badjaw. Again, Sama Badjaw is the original name of the Badjaws. Okay? So that ends our discussion on the indigenous communities, cultural communities in the Philippines, the ICCs of the Philippines. Marami tayong mga nakaligtaan na tribes, pero kung aaralin natin lahat at saka magdidig deeper tayo sa kanilang lahat, mawawalan tayo ng oras. Okay? So yung mga key concepts na lang o yung mga dapat dapat na aware kayo ng mga informations about them, yung idiniscuss ko o binanggit ko, okay? So, class, let's unite. We celebrate our shared unity. As a Filipino, we promote our indigenous communities. We respect their culture. We protect their habitat because their habitat is also protecting us. Um, And yan, that summarizes our discussion for this topic and for this subject matter. Philippine indigenous communities. Okay? So let's be grateful to our IP or indigenous peoples groups, and thank you for listening. Okay. So ayun lang po. Huwag kayong mag-alala, hindi ko hihirapan yung examination. Basta mag-review, i-revisit itong video kung hindi naintindihan. Basahin yung mga slides. If may mga gusto ko yung malaman, read some reliable and credible resources, mga primary sources, kung maaari, mga documentary videos, marami po dyan. Kung may mga informations na nabanggit ako na medyo hindi tugma dun sa mga nalalaman ninyo, mas mabuting i-research nyo muna and then clarify it in our group chat para hindi lang kayo yung nakakaalam ng tama at wastong informations about them. But we all know this correct informations, okay? So that's all.